All right, welcome to this explainer. I am so excited to have you here because today we are unpacking a massive tectonic shift happening right under our noses in the tech world. We're going to dive deep into the reality behind OpenAI's latest launch and really get into this hidden high-stakes friction between global market competitiveness and national safety.
So let's just get right into it. Usually when OpenAI drops a new model, it's absolute chaos, right? Developers rush the API, X is flooded with benchmarks, and the whole internet spends days just stress testing the thing. But when GPT 5.6 dropped, specifically their highly anticipated flagship model Sol, it completely skipped that usual public frenzy. Instead, access was locked down tight to this tiny, exclusive group of maybe 20 trusted partners. You really have to ask yourself, why didn't the rest of the world get access?
Well, the answer is actually pretty startling. It wasn't a server capacity issue, and it wasn't some technical glitch. The US government directly requested that OpenAI limit access to the new model family, and OpenAI agreed. The big takeaway for us here is that advanced AI is officially no longer just a fun consumer product. Washington is now treating these frontier models as highly sensitive strategic technology.
Which brings us to Section 1, the end of open launches, looking at how GPT 5.6 was restricted. Because frankly, this isn't just an isolated incident.
If we quickly map out the recent history, you can see this undeniable trend forming. It really kicked into gear a few months ago with the Trump administration's executive order on AI reviews. Then, not long after, we saw the government step in and reportedly push restrictions that led to Anthropic totally taking down their powerful Fable 5 model. Fast forward to June 2026, and we've got the GPT 5.6 bottleneck we were just talking about. And looking just ahead to August 2026, the administration is expected to establish a formal, classified process to assess these frontier models. Basically, the era of just launching a world-changing AI to the public on a random Tuesday? Yeah, that seems to be completely over. Moving right along to Section 2, the dual-use safety dilemma, focusing on capabilities and risks. To actually understand why the government is pulling the emergency brake here, we have to look at what the GPT 5.6 family can actually do.
The core problem regulators are sweating over is the classic dual-use dilemma. The exact same capabilities that make a model like GPT 5.6 Sol incredibly valuable are the literal exact same things that make it terrifying in the wrong hands. On the defensive side, it's absolutely amazing at finding deep software bugs or accelerating life-saving biology research. But flip the coin to the offensive side? That identical level of intelligence could theoretically help bad actors chain complex cybersecurity exploits together, or severely lower the barrier for creating biological and chemical weapons.
And the specific technical leaps in this new model are exactly what trigger those national security alarms. GPT 5.6 Sol has this maximum reasoning effort for incredibly hard problems. But the real kicker is its ultra mode. In ultra mode, the system isn't just processing a single thread like a normal chatbot. It actually divides the work across multiple coordinated subagents to tackle complex tasks autonomously. It's setting state-of-the-art records on terminal-based coding benchmarks, meaning it can write, test, and execute complex code entirely on its own, and it's beating Anthropic's Mythos 5 while using just a third of the output tokens. That level of independent, autonomous coordination is a total game changer, but it's exactly what keeps regulators up at night.
In fact, to prove this model was safe enough even for a restricted launch, OpenAI had to do some serious heavy lifting. 700,000. That is the astronomical number of A100 equivalent GPU hours OpenAI burned through purely on automated red teaming and safety testing. Just think about that for a second. They dedicated a staggering amount of supercomputing power for the sole purpose of proving to authorities that the model won't just go rogue and autonomously launch full-chain cyber exploits.
All right, on to Section 3, de facto involuntary licensing and the regulatory consequences of all this. Let's pivot and look at the market fallout from these safety fears.
We have a super insightful perspective here from Dean Ball, a former White House AI advisor. He argues that the recent executive order has essentially created what he calls a de facto involuntary licensing regime. This hits the nail on the head regarding the tech industry's biggest fear right now, the idea that every major model launch is going to turn into this opaque, secret negotiation behind closed doors. It completely upends how software is shipped in America.
Let's break down exactly what that means on the ground. An involuntary licensing regime is a system where theoretically voluntary pre-release reviews, which the government can request up to 30 days before a launch, quietly morph into an expected, mandatory approval process. And the real kicker? This is happening without any clear, defined public rules. Without a transparent safety standard to hit, AI companies are facing sudden, arbitrary delays and shifting goalposts right at the finish line when they're ready to ship.
Let's look at Section 4, Market at Risk, exploring costs and competitiveness, because this regulatory reality is definitely not just a political talking point. It's actively threatening U.S. business interests and billions in infrastructure.
What's absolutely fascinating here is the brutal economics at play behind these highly intelligent models. Just look at the pricing breakdown. The flagship Sol model costs a whopping $30 for every 1 million output tokens. When you have a model utilizing those complex multi-agent workflows we talked about earlier, where subagents are constantly talking to each other, token usage just explodes. So for a developer trying to build a viable product on top of this platform, those costs skyrocket incredibly fast.
To survive these soaring inference costs and insanely fierce global competition, companies are having to totally rethink their hardware strategies. Look at these hardware growth projections for 2026. Custom ASICs, which are chips designed from the ground up for one very specific task, are projected to grow by an astounding 44.6%. Meanwhile, standard GPUs are lagging way behind at 16.1%. With massive international competitors like China's ByteDance reportedly hoarding and building 350,000 custom GPUs, U.S. companies are desperately trying to shift away from standard, off-the-shelf hardware just to keep their profit margins alive.
Which brings us perfectly into our final section, the hardware counterplay, specifically focusing on Project Jalapeno. Because how do you maintain your market edge when the government is bottlenecking your software and runaway compute costs are eating your bottom line? Will you build your own hardware? Enter Project Jalapeno. This is OpenAI's ultimate strategic countermove to stay on top. They've partnered up with Broadcom to build their very first custom AI chip. And what's crucial to understand here is that this chip isn't for training massive new models. It's an inference ASIC. It is purpose-built strictly for the expensive, day-to-day grind of actually running the models for millions of users. The potential impact of this custom silicon is honestly hard to overstate. Early testing is showing that Project Jalapeno could cut those inference costs by roughly 50% compared to standard AI GPUs. I mean, slicing your biggest operating expense in half? That completely flips the economics of running ChatGPT and those highly complex, token-hungry agentic workflows. It gives OpenAI a massive amount of breathing room.
And the way this builds into a self-sustaining cycle is just brilliant. OpenAI actually used its own AI models to help design the Jalapeno chip in a record-breaking 9 months. Think about the feedback loop that creates, right? The AI optimizes the chip design. That better hardware lowers the inference costs 50%. Those cheaper models then allow developers to support way more AI agents and users. That immense scale generates massive revenue, which OpenAI then pours directly back into funding the next generation of chips. It's this beautiful full-stack advantage that is going to be incredibly difficult for competitors to catch up to.
So, we have unpacked a genuinely fascinating tension today. On one side, you've got this breakneck, almost unbelievable pace of innovation. Companies literally using AI to design custom silicon just so they can run smarter, cheaper agents. But then, on the other side, you have a government that is rightfully concerned about the dual-use safety of these ultra-powerful systems, which is resulting in this involuntary licensing regime that forces companies to slam on the brakes. The friction between ensuring national safety and maintaining market dominance has literally never been higher. So, I want to leave you with this final thought. Can U.S. AI companies maintain their global edge and keep funding these massive hardware leaps if every major software launch gets bogged down in prolonged government approvals? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope this helped you see the bigger picture today.